Okay, today we are doing problem 735 asteroid collision. So we are given some asteroids in a row. So we got the relative positions, and for each asteroid its absolute value is its size and the sign is the direction. They move at the same speed, and if two meet, smaller one explodes. If same size, both explode, and two asteroids moving in the same direction will never meet. And final state of the asteroids after all the collisions. Okay, so let's say we have an asteroid moving to right. Now what happens to it? Well, we go to right, and let's say we meet someone larger who is going in the same direction. Well, that does nothing to us. If they move same direction, they are smaller, we technically do not have to get impacted, because if there would be 2 here and -4 here, then this one would die, and then this would eat this, I guess. So you essentially go until you find something larger, and if it's the same size, then you only get eaten if it gets eaten, and if it's opposite direction, then you will either eat it or it will get eaten. So in reality, because you don't find next element by having that stack, asteroid I doesn't equal C. Okay, so in reality what you want is to find the next larger element by absolute size, right? Or for each element you want to know which elements it stops, right? And you need to have a decreasing queue of elements So to 3, so I would maintain 5, and to 3 same thing happens to 5. Because if 5 gets eaten, 3 gets also eaten. So Okay. Then we have 5 here, and then we meet 6, and everything smaller gets eaten by -6, and we put 6 there. Then we get a 2. Right, and nothing happens really to 2. So we have -6 and 2, then we get -1, nothing happens. Then we get 4, and then we erase this, and then this same thing happens to. Okay, so that should work, I think. Not sure if one direction will work, but whatever. Let's call it just A because that's obnoxiously long. Ans is equal to, so they will not exist, not exist, so they will all exist. Could be n. Okay. So whilst and ups of nums -1 is both explode, that's kinda tough. So what I only care about is that if I have a okay, so if nums -1 nums I under 0, right? Only that case makes a collision. Then ans the minus 1 is equal to it will not exist, and then it will not exist, and then something happens. I don't know. Okay, so that guy doesn't exist. We remove him, and now if st minus 1 equals minus nums I val okay, because if they collide and the one doesn't go to left anymore. Well, if this guy exploded, does he still go there? If there is a guy going to so if that's the case, right, then ans of st minus 1 is equal to ans, no, is equal to I, and if nums st minus 1 under 0 and nums I under 0, so they're both under 0 and first one is smaller, Then we just do this. Nothing changes. And then result for if ans I exist AI. That's some random ass shit. Oh, and I'm not pushing anything. Let's see, num's not defined, and I use it everywhere. Well, that's awesome. Else what case I didn't cover? Because that means that that's the case when they are going the opposite directions, and the one going to right, can it influence anything there? I'm not sure. If it's larger and going the opposite direction. Well, just to break, why not? Print ans. So I push. Maybe this will work, just copy pasting, why not? We need to do it also backwards. Okay, now we almost work. So at first I have this there, and then this one gets the same treatment as 1. Yeah, because I have to resolve those dependencies. If I not in this, if I not in this and ans I over 0 dfs I component for component if ans vt under 0 results under vt for vt in component ans vertex result. So this should work. most random code of all time will for sure not work, and the fact that this is a medium problem and I'm struggling means that I'm doing something very wrong. -2 goes to left. Okay, so some ties problem. What? So something happened here. Okay. Maybe they just help with one case. Yes. I think backwards won't work. Boy, do I love tasks like this. What is this? Why do it depend on number 2 exactly? Yeah. That doesn't quite work. Okay, I'm gonna read the hint because say a row of a stable, what happens when a new asteroid is added to the right? Doesn't help with anything, but okay. Yeah, okay, so I have 5 and when I add same direction, that's okay. equals both, and now res if res dom equals both, else it will exist. And now 2 is extra, that's weird. If res is both, and if ans with the unders, ans with the so that means the answer for u will be, so this guy will not exist. Okay. I mean, this seems absolutely stupid, but whatever. So these guys, this no. What? If they are both negative, you pop? Why would that be, rough? Why would that be? Okay. Let's see. I'm going one case by one case. That is ridiculous. This is irritating me, bro, because I wanted to go to sleep. Yeah, I'm probably doing something wrong, and I will read the editorial if I don't figure it out very soon. And this is absolutely not the solution, bro. So I have -2 here. That's the wrong direction. Let's see. So this is true, this is not true, this is not true. I don't know. Okay. Screw that. Mm-hmm. Stop it. if asteroid is bigger than asteroid on top, what? Stacking. Yeah, that's too complicated. That is too complicated. Okay, well, I mean, struggling with medium is crazy. For A in nums, whilst and this and this so that's die, and then we have die is 1, and then or die is false, right? And now if why is there ups on the top? If so, if I mean, I think we can only maintain the, or do we have to, if ups of st minus 1 is smaller than ups of a continue. That is interesting, right? And now if ups st minus 1 they are same, we just pop it. So current so die will be 1. If not die, still push A. Ans append. Oh, just return ans. Okay, TLE, I understand it now. Okay, so let's say we have some asteroids, a new one comes in. How does it affect the ones we already have? If the rightmost one goes to right and current one goes to left, they will collide, and therefore we have to take action. If the stack if the rightmost one has the same as it explodes. If we check the new rightmost one again, if the rightmost one has the same size, both explode and we has the same or larger size, the current one explodes and the rightmost one too if it has the same size. We stop the check. How to implement a stack of undestroyed asteroids. We have a new one, we compare it against top of the stack. If the top has smaller size and they go opposite directions into each other, we erase the top. We pop from the stack and repeat. Otherwise we also pop from the stack if they have the same size. Otherwise the current one does not get pushed to the stack, but before the interesting. Okay, so otherwise the current does not get pushed to the stack, and we pop from the stack again if they have the same size. Since each asteroid is pushed / popped from the stack at most once of n, since we can have where n is the size of the stack, since we can push since in worst case scenario since in worst case scenario all asteroids so no asteroids will be destroyed and therefore will occupy